Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be a strange stream, I'm thinking, today, because remember how I was complaining in the last couple of streams about how my computer just randomly shuts off? I decided to do something about it over the weekend, and I rebuilt my PC, which was a royal pain in the butt, but we did it. So I still don't know if it was overheating or what, but I got a new motherboard and then kept my CPU, got a new heatsink, and then new RAM because I only had 16 gigabytes before, so now I have two 16 gigabyte DDR4s, and then got a new power supply. What else did I do? Kept my graphics card. I think that's about it. Oh, and then like 5 or 6 months ago, I bought a 4 terabyte solid state drive, but I just never had the gumption to put it in. So I decided to do all of that over the weekend. Oh, it was horrible. I've never actually built a computer by myself before, and my husband came up a couple times throughout the day to give me moral support and to finally be the pinch hitter and tell me that after like 8 hours of trying and not understanding why it wouldn't boot, it was because my power supply, I was trying to use my old power supply, and that was just dead. But I did it, and we're here. So now we're at the fun part, which is just getting all my tooling reinstalled and trying to get the engine to build. So if you see, I haven't actually pirated Windows, I just can't find my key. So then I had to go on to Groupon, and I bought one off of Windows 11 Home off of Groupon for $11. So I'm waiting for the email for that to come in. But we have just about nothing here. So the mission for today is to try to build the engine. It is currently not building because I got the most recent version of MSVC this afternoon, and it seems to be too new for Diligent Engine because I'm getting all sorts of warnings here. But let's totally rebuild. Because I just switched branches. But anyway, I think I got off track. The goal for today is to get the engine to build, and then, which probably won't be a code change or a config change. I just have to get the right version of MSVC to be compatible with this version of Diligent. And then get the code review, then get the game to build, which it should just build right off the bat as soon as I get the right version of MSVC for one of these dependent libraries. Then, if all of that's done, I'll update the game to pull in I'll merge the merge request and then update the game to pull that merge request in so that I can get the quaternion fixes that my husband did. So that's the plan. But all that to say, I don't know how engaging it'll be. Hi, Bali Josu. Is my engine opinionated about object layout? Can you clarify what you mean by that? Alright, so I was looking, and Diligent has, so when I'm talking about Diligent, I'm talking about Diligent Engine or Diligent Graphics. It's an abstraction library for graphics, and we were using, let's see here, what version were we using? API 256011. I think there's API 256019 available, which I'm guessing is June. No, I guess I don't know how to read that, but I tried bumping the version a little bit to see if the maintainer of Diligent Engine had fixed these warnings with the new compiler version, but he had not. Oh, so I had to Google what you meant by object layout. Hi, LHD7105. My husband is more than I do, or more than I am. He will catch me on things like, hey, make sure that you're you do largest to smallest in terms of like member variable declaration and structs and things like that. And I'm not very knowledgeable in that area, but I do know that like when it comes to the graphics side of the house, I pay attention to it. So let me give an example while we're waiting here. Let's do light. Oh no, let's what about our structs now? It's been too long. So we care about alignment and padding when it comes to structs, especially uniform buffer structs, but my husband will go so far like CPU to GPU binding, I care about it. But when it comes to like just straight CPU stuff, I don't have a good intuition for object layout. No, my husband really does. He seems to understand it. Use dark mode? So I can't remember who it was, but somebody said I should use light mode. You guys are killing me. I will switch to dark mode because I'm very malleable. Let's figure out how to do it. Oh, maybe it won't. But when it comes to object layout, generally, so outside of CPU to GPU stuff, how we work is I will just make my class, and then my husband at code review time will be like, hey, you should actually like order it this way so that it like the member variable declaration in a class or a struct so that it's more cache friendly. But I don't have a good intuition for that myself. All right, so let me quit jumping around here. Where? There. Oh my god. I'm somehow in high contrast dark mode. I don't know if that's any better. And Billy Josie says, for the game objects, can users decide to use heap allocated individual fat structs, generational arrays, etc. Let's see. Let me actually look at a game scene here, because for the most part, so you're bound to our entity, and we complete our entity component system, and we manage the memory there. But when you're dealing with entities, but nothing stops you from like creating whatever you want here. So let's say let's see here. Like you can build. How do you turn off? Is this Copilot now trying to? How do you get rid of this crap? Like, let's just, yeah, you can define a struct and then use it in the, use it however you like and define your own objects however you like and allocate them however you like. But generally, like when you're just using straight up game engine or like the entity component system, you're bound to how we allocate memory. Streamer says 5 words and then my uber small and ultra unwrinkly noggin imploded. Yeah, when it comes to being clever about memory allocation especially on the CPU, I'm getting better at it on the GPU. I understand a little bit more about like padding and alignment, and I'm starting to get into GPU optimization and like learning about how things are laid out, but that's just I'm just beginning that adventure. But when it comes to knowing about like cache friendliness and cache coherency, that's all Cal. That's my husband. And if he ever starts streaming again, you'll have to jump onto his stream and ask him. So I'm right there with you with being smooth brained about some of the deepers, the internals of C++. I know it is worse than light mode. I don't know where in Visual Studio, I don't know, or VS Code. Oh, why my preferences color theme? There we go. What's the normal one? There. Much better. Have y'all planned an AI framework yet? Do you mean like 2020 AI, like LLM framework, or do you mean like min-max trees and like 1990s AI? Which AI are you talking about? Oh, and Glandable earlier said version hell errors. Yes, so we have I updated to the latest version of MSVC today because this is a brand new PC, or at least a brand new motherboard and brand new hard drive. So a fresh version of Windows, nothing on it. So I downloaded the latest version of MSVC, and it is too new for Diligent. So Diligent has not yet addressed the errors here, but I was looking at the commits, and I think he has. I didn't actually look too highly at this one, but I'm going to assume, yeah. That the fixes are in here, but this is not released yet. If you look at the tags, we are on API 25611. API 25619 was from 2 months ago, and that's the newest, so I have a little bit of time to wait. So for those that don't know how to deal with these kind of things, there are a couple different paths you can take. So if you're dependent on a library that, say you've updated your compiler and now the library is blowing up with, let's just say in this case, the case that I have, where you have warnings and they're being treated as errors. Option A, which was what I was going to do, but my husband talked me out of it, is in your build system, you can come in here and disable warnings. And we do that some places, but you could do that for your dependencies. So that's option A. Pros, it's like the fastest, but cons, now warnings are warnings for a reason, and now you're hiding them. Another option is which is what I'm going to do, is to get an older version of the compiler, and provided that your dependency is a library that's well maintained and you know that they're going to fix it soon, then you can get an older version of the compiler, wait for them to fix it. Once they do, then you can upgrade and then address, hopefully that they will have addressed all the same warnings, and then when you update, you're just good to go. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to get an older version of MSVC, but I've never done that before. LHG7105 says a CRPG style deck builder dungeon crawler. Yes, cool. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you. I'm really excited about the game. And you guys have not seen how cool. I'm so excited about how it looks right now, but I can't show you because I can't build at the moment, and I don't have a built version on this because it's a brand new. Actually, wait, maybe I can. Hold on. I'm really, really happy with how the shader is turning out. I took a screenshot of it, so let me grab it. Okay, how cool is this? I'm so proud of this. So, for those that are new, I am making a CRPG style deck builder dungeon crawler. It'll be multiplayer. And I am really, really committed to a very, very specific visual style. And I'm not quite here yet, but I'm close enough that I'm very excited. It's like a toon shader, and it has kind of it's flat, but it's not. And then I have a normal, a very, very high fidelity normal map texture that then the light catches, so you get all these cool details without getting too realistic looking. But thank you, Galanable, and thank you, LHD. Thank you guys. I'm so excited about it that I can hardly breathe for wanting to work on it. But today I find myself trying to figure out how to get an older version of MSVC. So, how do I even do it? If someone knows, that would be wonderful. Modify. Desktop. I see, I don't want latest. Thanks, Mega Zombie Penguin. Welcome back. I did get the PC working, yeah. I spent the entire weekend learning how to build a PC and then building the PC and failing many times. I actually did it right the first time, except that I was trying to reuse a power supply from 2014 and it wasn't working, but I didn't know that that was the problem because it did let my motherboard go into idle mode. There was enough power for that, but it just wasn't enough power to post, so when I turned it on, nothing would happen. And so I spent 6 hours trying to, not thinking it was the power supply, trying to diagnose what it was. And it was, in fact, the power supply. That was my husband's suggestion. Okay, y'all, I'm looking to see... Oh, right, you're right. Well, I don't want that old. I don't want to go to 143. I just don't want the version from this month. I'd be happy with a version from like 3 months ago. But well, I don't want to go to 2022. There's got to be a happy middle ground. Okay, so I don't know Mega Zombie Penguin. That's the trouble. So I usually update MSVC every 2 to 4 months, I would say. And I had probably updated on my previous iteration of this computer. I had updated in July, maybe? Or it's June? And that was working just fine with this version of Diligent. Then today I got whatever the version is, the newest version. I just saw it. Where is it? 18.9.0. But so VS 2026, newest version, latest. And that is too new. That introduces some warnings in the Diligent library that I don't have control over fixing at the moment. And then another option, probably the hardest option and the least advisable if you're in this situation, is you could fork the library. But if they're not very frequently maintained, you would have to do this. But you could fork the library, fix the thing yourself, and then just pull in your forked one. I'm not going to do that because Diligent is a very responsive maintainer and he fixes stuff right away. Mega Zombie Penguin says, I haven't been using MSVC in a long time. The workflow seemed off to me, but I'm old school. Huh. Yeah. Yeah. I just usually always have Visual Studio. This time I don't have Visual Studio installed. Well, okay. I guess for now... This looks very oh, hey, look at this. This looks very promising. Okay. Looks like all the versions are right here. But these are 2022. I want 2026. Or maybe I don't. Okay, so I have 14.51. Okay, the internet is saying that this version is from April. Is this really latest? Okay, I'm gonna try getting this one. Okay, so 14.44, because I have 14.51. This one is not out of support yet. And then I just have to grab the rest of the things that I had before, because I don't know why they're gone. Here we want ATL. Something needed that. Oh gosh, what a pain in the butt. 14.5 is on a 6-month release. Yeah, that's so strange. So Mega Zombie Penguin says you can just pragma the warnings, but that would only be... Or are you saying like in the places where I include the headers? Yeah, I can do that, or I could just disable warnings for the headers here. But I don't want to do that because I'm going to inevitably forget and then just leave them as ignored. And I'd rather go into an earlier version of MSVC, wait for them to update, and then just upgrade and be good to go at that point. This is just horrible. I hate the Visual Studio installer, you guys, because it's telling me it's going to remove half this crap. Okay, so we wanted ATL and MFC. And Clang. Okay, but then we also want Okay, this one. But is that uninstalling the current MSVC that I have? Because where do I even see that? Ugh. What a pain. Yep. Mega Zombie Penguin says, bad thing about relying on other libraries, and when you do the update, it might break half your project. Been there before. Yeah. Agreed. So what I'm trying to determine now is what actual version of MSVC when it comes to like represented in this format, do I have installed right now? Something that's always confused me about Windows is what? So 14.51. Okay, so but this is 14.44 through 17.14. So these are just libs that are compatible with any version of MSVC. Is that what that's telling me? Yeah, we used GCC for a while, and I think we still could build it with it, but what was I can't remember why we stopped supporting it officially. We might still, let me look, we might still be running GCC tests in the engine. Take a look. Boop. Oh, we of course do for Linux, yeah, but we used to for Windows. Oh, okay. Oh, thank you, Mega Zombie Penguin. Alright, so then I'm just gonna hit it and see what happens. I don't think I have ever had to use an older version of MSVC before. This is a career first. Glanville says that's what platform independence layers are for. Do you mean like I'm a little confused with that. Can you elaborate on that? Because what Diligent technically is, I would call it a platform independence layer, because it allows you to build for Vulkan or DX12 or anything. So it's very API agnostic and such, but I'm curious what you mean. Let me know more about that. Zombie Penguin says AI says to determine the MSVC version programmatically in C++ code using predefined macros MSC bird, MSC full bird. Okay, thanks. Version control becomes a breeze when you specify what compiler is supposed to do instead of letting them do whatever they want. Oh, I see. Okay. So now Let's scan for kits. Let's see if it actually picked up my kit. If that actually did anything. Oh, don't make me do the CMake command manually here. Okay. It's the generator. Yeah, how do y'all know how previously in VS Code I had the toolbar here show me, it allowed me to choose my generator, and it would show you, like, when you scan for kits, it'll show you, you can like load them, you have a loadout, you can choose what compiler you want to do. Do you know what extension that is? I thought it was a C++ extension, but it must not be. Or, oh, maybe CMake tools. Could have been that one. Glenville says, platform independence layers are for defining specific OS and compiler logic, i.e. Clean compiles this way with this version only, GBC compiles this other way, and so on. What does that actually look like? Where does that live? Unless, are you talking about like with this kind of stuff? Oh, it is CMake? Yeah, I thought so. Oh, setting up my development environment is my nightmare. But I would rather stream and you guys can help me than not stream and struggle in silence. It's still doing 14.51 because I didn't actually tell it not to, because I can't find my... Yeah, I try to avoid preprocessor directives as much as I possibly can for that reason. So, okay, I'm going to break down what I'm trying to do to a very specific thing now. I'm going to try to figure out how to get this tool panel back up, which Glendale says is CMake tools, which I have installed. So then, and once I get that, then I can figure out in the GUI, because I have a couple options. What I want to do is I want to set my compiler, provided that I installed an older one, to the older one, and I can do that in settings JSON, but I don't know where it is. So actually, maybe we'll just try that. We'll go find it. So it's easier in CMake tools if it tells me what kits it found. Okay, so let's try that. Let's start with that. Let's try to get the settings for CMake tools so I can figure out where this tool panel is. Where did it go? Okay. Glenville says bottom icon to the left. And Meg Zombie Penguin says, oh, I do Pragma once. That is true. It's just a bunch of CMake macros. Yeah, I mean, we do have some CMake macros, but the claim, diligence claim, is that you can have 0 platform specific or API specific code, which is not true in my case. We have some Vulkan specific code, but largely it is true. It's pretty cool. But yeah, we do have like if we have some if debugger and if like debug renderer is enabled. We do have some of that. Okay, Google time. VS Code, CMake tools, toolbar. It's hidden by default in recent updates to the extension. Extension updates have moved these options into the dedicated CMake sidebar view. How to restore the toolbar. Search for... Okay, if we want to search our settings here. CMake status. Aha! Okay. There it is, you guys. It's the icon right under the extensions icon, by the way. Oh, thank you. That's helpful. That would have... Okay. Alright, so we have scanned for kits. We're going to do it again. It did not install. An older version. So 18.9. This is always so confusing. 18.9. So that's like this version. But I only know about this version. But okay, so we want to try this again. Well, let's try our friend Google. Install older version of MSVC. Okay, they said we have this one. Let's try to find it. It felt like such a win getting the CMake tool status bar. Yeah, it's hidden by default. Thanks. Oh, I'm in the wrong program files, of course. 18 build tools. BC tools, MSVC. Okay. 14.44. That's the one that I want. Why didn't you find you in a kit? Oh, it's right. Oh, no, it's not. Never mind. Nope. I'm going to scan recursively for my kit. Hopefully this will find it. Google is no one's friend. I am not a big fan of how they're slowly edging us towards, our overlords are edging us towards having only the AI result come up, and then you have to X out of that window if you want to find the normal Google search results or Bing or whatever browser of your choice. Okay, it can't find it. Do I uninstall it then? And I don't even see why it's not selected here. I must be missing something. Oh, what a pain in the arse. They took away the do no evil. Why would, imagine how that boardroom conversation went. You guys know our logo or motto is do no evil? Well, it shouldn't be anymore. Why wouldn't they just leave it? Okay, here's what I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try something kind of sneaky. Are we finding 5.2 or 5? Okay, we're finding 5.1, which isn't even the newest one I have in here. It's something is so crazy, but let's see if I do this. And then we scan. Let's open another program, probably the installer. Oh my god. Oh. I need to spend more time doing this crap, especially with MSVC, because I set my build environment up like a year ago and just haven't had to deal with it again. And then I forget. Who has you open? Okay, Visual Studio's closed. And the annoying thing is I don't even know how to uninstall that one through the Visual Studio installer because I don't see it selected. Maybe that's what I'm just going to do. I'm going to uninstall everything. All the C++ components, and then I'm just going to reinstall an older one. Glandel says, I'm going to be honest, I only look at the AI result because the other results are just advertisements or totally unrelated stuff. I do get caught all the time in like the searching for one very specific tool and then a competitor's tool paid more money and so it's above yours and you click on it. Screw that. Polly Joseph says Google had the absolute worst employee invention agreement. What was it? Like what you make on your own time belongs to Google kind of deal? I'm blowing it all away. And then I'm going to start from scratch, installing an older version. What a pain. Oh. I've really been inspired by Mika's to-do list on his streams. You guys should check out his streams if you don't. But he has a to-do list for his entire game. It's mapped out. And he has a progress chart. And he's something like 28% done. And it's so cool. Thank you all for keeping me company while I do this junk. And refocus my camera. I don't know why it's not focused. In the CMake presets.json file. I've never had a CMake presets.json file. Thank you, Mega Zombie Penguin. My plan now is I'm going to blow all my MSVCs and only install an older one. See, I should have. I had too much confidence in my ability to reconfigure everything, my development environment, because I had this all on a 1 terabyte 1 terabyte solid state drive. And then instead of making any notes at all about what did my settings JSON file look like and what were my CMake settings and what version of Visual Studio did I have, I didn't note any of it and I thought I could YOLO it, and here I am. Okay, we don't want 18.91. I don't want any of those. Where are... Okay, you're going to give me the installer, which I already have. Let me mute here for a minute. Nice, okay. So, here we go. I do want desktop development with C++, so then I'm going to take a picture of what they give me here, because this will be the latest. I don't even want the Visual Studio Editor. Okay, so I don't want MSVBC build tools for latest. Looks like you're trying to remove a component that's required by the following. Okay, good. That's okay, because I have a picture of what I have to recheck. Sorry, there's a delay of like 30 seconds that I haven't figured out how to turn off between your comments and me saying anything in your comments, so it's actually quite painful for you guys to have to try to walk me through this because I see your comments 30 seconds later. But okay, so we don't want the MSVC build tools for x64, x86 latest. We want individual components. We want MSVC build tools for yeah, okay, so this one, if you hover over it, it says Visual Studio 17.14, which is V1444. So that is what I want. Then I also need, I don't think I want the latest ATL. Do I also want the 1444 version of that? Okay, that's not an option. Oh, maybe, yeah, okay. It is. But not, okay, this one. Perfect. I don't want you. I do want a debugger, but I don't know if this is the debugger that I use. I don't know what the MSVC debugger is called. Okay, then I want the CMake tool. Oh. Okay, that's fine. I will get the CMake tools for Windows from Visual Studio Code, which I already have. Okay, then okay, that should be good. And Megan Zombie Penguin says, do I want the C++ CMake tools for Windows checked? Oh, then, yeah. I think it's the delay. But, yeah, I don't think so, because Visual Studio Code gives me that. All right, let's try it. Well, while we're waiting, what we can do is look at the MR my husband made. So there was a bug in our editor. I don't know if I'd ever shown it to you or not, but I certainly can't show it to you now. Actually, maybe I have an old version of the engine here. I almost always do, but I don't this time. It was on my other hard drive. But when you, so we have Euler values in radians in our editor, but behind the scenes we do a quaternion representation. It is how we represent the data. And if I were to say angle a point light exactly where I want it in the editor, I could see what the radian degrees, what the radian rotations were for X, Y, and Z. And then if I wrote those down on Notepad and then put those in the code and then tried to reload the scene, I would not have an equivalent rotation. So that was what he fixed. And I'm very excited for that because that was a pretty showstopper bug because I couldn't actually position things in the editor where I wanted them and then save that position. So that's a rotation. So he fixed that. Mega Zombie Penguin is glad I'm not the only one that struggled with Visual Studio Code. Yeah, I can fly if I don't have to set up my development environment. And if I do, it takes an hour. And then I always learn, like, oh, this is how you do this. And then I don't have to do it for another year, and then I forget again. It's not gimbal lock issues. Well, I should ask him, maybe it was, but I don't think so. He had solved the gimbal lock stuff. But it had to do with when we were talking this morning. He said that potentially the way that the DirectX API, which is what we're using for math, was accepting its parameters. So it was roll, pitch, and yaw. They were potentially being put in the wrong, we were feeding them in the wrong order, but let's find out. In the editor, we now cache Euler angles on object selection, so we aren't converting to and from quaternions repeatedly. Quaternion to Euler angles and from Euler angles, we're using different rotation conventions. Both are valid, but incompatible. Anything using to and from was certainly broken. It's possible anything using the to was also broken because that should be incompatible with other DX stuff. There's no other usage in the engine I can see. Anyways, updated to operate in DX's terms. Roll, pitch, yaw, or Z, X, Y. Okay. Added quaternion tests. General cleanup of quaternion. Nice, so let's take a look. Okay, so we're caching the Euler rotation now. Updated the copyright. Okay, and then in the scene graph, when we go to set entity selection, if the entity is valid, we cache their Euler rotation. Okay. Easy enough. Okay, so in our, oh, I think we're done. Okay. So make a zombie penguin swing. So different coordinate systems. No, I don't think that was the cause of this problem. We've had our fair share of coordinate problems. Let's see, because we do, so Z forward, we have a left-handed coordinate system. So Z forward, Y up, positive X going to the right. And I've had no shortage of problems there, just trying to like go from Vulkan to OpenGL, like following OpenGL tutorials and then having Vulkan and trying to understand how all of that works. And then especially going from Blender, which don't quote me on this, but I'm just going to assume is right-handed because I physically can't get my things from Blender to map in my left-handed coordinate system correctly. But in this case, I think it was just, to hear him talk this morning, it wasn't a coordinate system mismatch, it was just an assumption of parameter ordering that was incorrect. But we'll be able to see that in the code review here pretty soon. Okay, so let's scan for kits. Well, this is very mysterious. Let's see what they... Empty. That doesn't bode well at all. Okay, what are you yelling? Okay, we can't find Visual Studio. What are you doing? What did you... Oh, okay, so whatever So the release notes. God, what a nightmare. I'm kind of tempted now to just disable all the warnings. This is garbage. But the thing is I know that if I go into CMake and I disable all the warnings, it's going to be like 2 years before I remember that I did that. We try to stay as current as we can. Oh, maybe you're just not in the 18 folder because you're 17. But where would that be? Oh, we just put you in a different in program files instead of program files x86, huh? Sweet. Okay. There is more than one way to skin a cat. Here's what we're going to try this time. One more scan for kits for the boys, and then we're going to go into CMake settings. And then put the path to the compiler there. Why does this have to be so hard? Okay, I'm going option B, which is, oh, I think there's a fourth option, which is that assuming that this MR, that diligent, I don't have anymore, but the commit that he had made to presumably fix this, I could just pin to that commit temporarily too. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am giving up on trying to download an older version of Visual Studio. And I'm going to go get the latest build. And then in the meantime, that's such a pain. I hate being defeated by something like a compiler version. Wonder what that one had that the latest build tools had that mine, the older one, didn't. Yeah, now I can find it. That's so strange. Can I set the version of the CMake targets file? Maybe. I don't think we set it anywhere. Yeah. I don't think we... And I don't want to pin it in code like this if I can avoid it. Okay, so in that case, what I'm going to try to do first... Yeah, I'm just going to instead try to disable warnings here and see if that gets us across the finish line, and then I'll just check in so that I don't forget to update them. Alright, while we're waiting for that, okay, so when we select the entity, we cache its current Euler rotation. Then in our editor for the rotation, we used to convert 2 quaternions from the Euler angles. Now we are not. Now we show the cached one, and then we say our new rotation. At that point, that's when we translate in the back end what it was. And then, okay, what did we do to quaternion? Get rotation 4x4. Let's check our progress here. Target compile options cannot be used on an alias target. Are you mad at this one? I bet you are. Okay, matrix XM. Okay, so we're passing in a quaternion. And we're just storing it as a 4x4 matrix. Oh, we're getting the rotation matrix. I gotcha. Okay. Is the pitch near 90? I think this is the one thing that he had told me he had done is cap it to avoid like the gimbal locking scenario. We can only go so much in this direction and so much in that direction. I think that's what this is doing here, but check to see if we're within an epsilon of 90 degrees. What are we? Oh, just some pool. Okay. Okay, so we've changed Euler angles. Okay, target compile options cannot be used on an alias target. The only change I've really made here was I don't know which of these is an alias target, so let's Google it. CMake, here's the AI overview. Let's see what it says. In CMake, you cannot run target include directories on an alias target because alias names are read-only shortcuts meant for linking and cannot be modified. And we're not defining anything as an alias, so it has to be in diligence side. Okay, let's put that back because it is library. And then get rid of. I don't understand why the difference here between disable warnings for target so that these were our targets here. Oh, it tells us what line. That's really handy. It was 187, which was I think the graphics tools. Glenville, you hate parallelism? You mean me doing a code review and trying to do CMake at the same time? That's the worst thing about AI expectations at work, at least for the company that I work at, is the idea that now we're going to have to context switch more than ever. I think my brain is just, it can't not context switch because I'm so used to context switching. Okay, so disable warnings for headers on 181. I was unhappy about that. And it doesn't want... Can I just not do any of them? I don't understand why I can't do the others, but I can do diligent and GUI. Basil, Abdul, Kadir, welcome to the stream. Do I use LLMs in any way or form, even like a ChatGPT chat section or just straight Googling? Yeah, for sure. I just had a very long conversation with ChatGPT about why my computer won't turn on after trying to rebuild it, and sometimes I'll ChatGPT for like, ChatGPT, what does it mean that why can I disable warnings for targets for diligent text reloader? I haven't done that today, but no, mostly my brain just likes to chew on stuff, and this is frustrating and I'm not enjoying this right now, but I'm trying to strike a balance between keeping my brain practicing and thinking, because at work it's just like there's like very high level design, like watching the planning agent plan things and reading it and saying, yeah, that looks good to me, but short answer, yeah, sure. Long answer, no. I'm trying to, as much as possible, keep my brain learning. And what learning looks like for me is wallowing in misery, trying to figure out why some of these libraries were considered targets and some were not. Because that configure just worked. I think it depends on my comfort level. So if it's something like, I don't know, I can't think of a good example because I just generally haven't been on this project, but there's like busy work that one could do that I think is fine to do in an LLM, at least within my constraints for this project. But if it's something like CMake, which I'm dicey on, I don't want to because I'd rather have to like Google and read and be like, oh, this sentence doesn't quite explain what I'm trying to do, so I have to use my critical thinking to figure it out. Okay, in C++20, this comparison calls. Okay, this is spur-v tools, small vector. God darn it. Okay, so then the next course of action here is to see. So I have disabled warnings for everything that I can think of, and it's sneaking through in the spur-v tools library, which is part of the diligent core. So the next thing I'm going to do, because he doesn't have a release tag yet, is pin against the most recent commit that he has and see if that will fix it. Okay, so that is maybe we'll go through all the options that I talked about today. Can you imagine it? Okay, so let's now I think I might have to change get shallow, but let's just try this first. Oops. Here we go. Yeah, Basil says it's so crazy because at work we're being pushed to use this tools more and more, and to be honest, I don't see any new stuff being created, just the same LLM generated stuff. Yeah, you still have to watch the AI. It'll straight up lie until you call it out. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with the, like, in the fully AI process of the stages that we've developed. at work, and I don't know even how much I can talk about it, but like in short, there are a lot of intervention steps where we can look at what it's done and approve as we go through the gates. But I don't find that to be fun. And I feel like probably medium term, AI will improve to the point where there won't be any more coding like this for when people are getting paid to do so. I can see that happening in like 2 to 5 years maybe. So the thing is I don't have fun telling someone I'm not doing this to have a game at the other end. I'm doing this because it's fun. And so it's not as fun for me to do like just have an AI do it. It's like I don't want to push a magic button and get a golden egg. I want to actually go through the crappy parts because of the dopamine. I'm in it for the dopamine. And I can't even imagine how cool a thing you would have to build with AI in order to get a dopamine boost from it, but I get dopamine boost from getting past the CMake configure step. All right, so now we've walked through a couple of different examples, none are different strategies you can do when your dependent libraries aren't working with your compiler. And in this case, just recapping for everybody. So I rebuilt my computer over the weekend, and I did not make a note of what version of MSVC I had installed there, but it was working fine with Diligent. Then on this computer, brand new hard drive, and brand new, completely blank slate, I installed the latest version of MSVC, which I did not have on my previous computer, and Diligent is unhappy, or it is unhappy with Diligent, I should say. It is detecting new warnings and treating them as errors. So, option 1 we had talked about. Well, you can, I think like the most unwieldy option would be fork Diligent and make the patch yourself. Option 2 would be to, if the library has fixed it, if the maintainer of the library has fixed it, you can just pull it. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Just pin to that version. I don't like pinning to commits though. I like to pin to releases because otherwise, I mean, this is just a random commit. Who knows if it's mid-flight from other commits, or even has tests added or anything yet. Option 3 is to downgrade your version of MSVC or your compiler back to what it was, which was what I was trying to do for almost an hour. Oh, okay. So I think let's try that. If you don't specify shallow, do you guys remember how you can specify depth? Goshin Game Dev, welcome to the stream. On Twitter, they say it's not pronounced C++. Hey, Moonsy, welcome back. Oh, Galanable says, oh, more than I'm having a heated argument in O3DE chat discussing how entities should spawn. It's the 13 Angry Men movies spanning a bunch of Discord threads. Yeah, I feel like context switching is just the name of the game. I am getting so crabby. I hate tooling. Just want the tools to work, folks. Is that too much to ask? A Ghosteen game dev, what do they say it is pronounced like on Twitter? I know. To make fetch content commit SHA. Ghosteen Game Dev says, what do you do for your day job, by the way? Also programming? Yes, in a completely different domain. I do, SaaS development for legacy desktop applications in VB.NET generally, and some C# when we're lucky. Eric Anderson says, welcome to the stream, by the way. I wrote my first MPI-based application today. What is MPI? I've got to Google it. A message passing interface for distributed memory parallelization. Is that it? I'd be very curious about that. That sounds really hard and impressive. Good job. All right. What? High performance computing. That's super cool. Goshin Game Dev says, is it not tiring to come home from work and then just do more work? When I am faced with this kind of bull honky, yes, it is tiring for sure. I don't want to look at this anymore. But when I'm doing stuff that I enjoy, aspects of game dev that I enjoy, no, it's not tiring. But on that note, I do have to go to bed. I'm trying to go to bed by 9 Central, so that I can wake up and go to the gym at 5. But Godspeed. Send me positive vibes so that I can figure this mess out before Thursday. Oh, Bali Josie, you quit your job so you can do solo game dev. That is the dream. Yeah, that is the dream. I would love to do that. I'm gonna look it up. That seems pretty cool. The MPI. I've been a busy bee lately, Goshin. Thank you all. Thank you for sticking with me while I get progressively more frustrated. I think tomorrow I'm going to get on Discord and ask Assiduous, who's the maintainer of Diligent, if he has fixed this problem yet, and then ask him what he advises me to do. That's the great thing about Diligent Graphics, is that if you have a question, no matter how asinine, so far, the guy that wrote it all is super patient on Discord. Anyway, thank you for joining me. I will be streaming Thursday. Hopefully it is not more of this. My goal is to finish up that scene and then get back to cutting over the proof of concept, but I'm getting so fired up by this wonderful scene. It's gonna look so cool when I have, so I want to add a bunch of grass and some mushrooms, and then there will be a bunch of big pines here that are kind of drooping over, and then in the back there will be a mountain range and then a castle right here, and this will be the entrance to the dungeon, and then it'll be kind of dungeon crawlery for a couple of scenes, and then we're gonna pop out into like a rocky foreground to the castle, and then that will be the final boss. Cannot wait. The Discord link is on my channel somewhere. And that is all I can tell you because I don't actually know. I think if you go to my channel and there's the header, and then if you expand the header, you should see it in there. All right, have a good night, everybody. Thank you for bearing with me, and wish me luck